I know that there's a lot going on right now, and Trump has only been president for a few days. It seems like every time I turn on the TV, my computer, my iPad, this guy's somewhere signing some new executive orders. It feels like he's been signing executive orders for like 6 days straight now. And of course, he visited the people of North Carolina who were affected by Hurricane Helene. I am very grateful for that. And he traveled to look at the devastation in California. But I don't want all of this stuff that's going on. I don't want it to distract us or lead us to forget about these drones. We're still waiting for answers about what these drones are that are flying all over the place everywhere. And Trump said he was going to give us answers. Now I know that he's been busy. I didn't necessarily expect that he was going to give us the answers right away, but I hope that he does give us some information sometime soon. He's been keeping all of his other promises so far, so I do expect him to keep this promise as well. But if we don't get any information about these drones from him, I think that's very telling. And over the past couple of weeks, my opinions about these drones has really shifted. Because I told you all from day one that my number one theory is that China is behind these drones. And I won't say that theory has really changed. I do believe that China is behind a lot of this. And we know that for a fact because we've already arrested, several people from China who were flying over our military bases with smaller, less sophisticated drones. But these bigger drones that everyone's freaking out about over the past couple of months, my opinions about them are kind of shifting. I still think that it's a big chance that China is involved. But now I'm starting to think that somehow this whole drone situation is linked to UFO disclosure. Because I think the timing is very sus. You know what I mean? It's like we were having all of these big congressional hearings about UFOs and UAPs. And then next thing you know, we got these unidentified objects flying all over the place. And it became a big news story for a little while. We know that doesn't last long in today's day and age with our current news cycle that moves on from a story within a snap of a finger. But the timing of it is just really odd to me. It seems like this whole drone fiasco was like sandwiched in between a lot of other big UFO stories that were going on. Like I said, we had those hearings about UFOs with Congress and the Senate and what have you. And then shortly after the drone situation, we had these new whistleblowers coming forward. They released a video of what they claim is a UFO retrieval. Them retrieving a little egg-shaped object. We got some guy from the Special Forces who claims that our military has psychics who can summon UFOs with their mind. There's a lot of wild stuff going on. And these conversations aren't being had in dark rooms. These conversations are being had on national television while the world is watching. So regardless if you believe what these people are saying or what, I think that it's kind of easy to connect these stories because I look at the timing of everything and I think that the timing of stories coming out I think it's very significant, right? Because regardless if you believe in aliens or UFOs or what you think these things are or may be, the reality is that we're headed somewhere right now, and they're preparing us for something. They're not just talking about aliens and having these congressional hearings just for their own health, for no reason. No, they're mentally prepping the general public for something that's on the horizon. And I think this drone story may be even, a part of that psyop. I'm not saying that things weren't flying around the sky. I do believe that drones or whatever they may be are flying around the sky. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like these two things may be connected. And I'm starting to question, are these really drones? Or are these just the words that are being used for it? you're labeling these drones, but are these really drones? I don't know. Because some of the stories you hear about them are kind of odd. Like, the sheriff's department, they were tracking these drones and they disappeared and were able to escape in some weird way. And, there's all these talks of these orbs of light. It's just, I don't know. I'm really starting to think it's all tied together. But a mayor from New Jersey was speaking about this on the news recently. And he seems to think that, since we haven't been told that this is a national security threat, then most likely our own government is behind these drones. I'm not sure if I believe that, but let's go ahead and roll this clip. Let's listen to what he has to say. Let's hear him out, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
He now is the mayor of the township of Belleville, New Jersey, whose town had several drone sightings. Mayor Michael Melham. Mayor, thank you so much for your time on this. Before we talk about the president's actions, what is the latest on the situation there in Belleville? Are there still reports of these drone sightings?
Thank you for having me. So absolutely. I mean, all over New Jersey and even Long Island, I'm getting reports from videographers that are stationed right at the water there in Long Island, seeing them come over from what he says is New Jersey. Here in New Jersey, we're about 500 mayors strong. We are still waiting for answers because our residents are still gravely concerned over what's flying just over our homes.
Absolutely. And we know that the president wants action. For anyone who missed it, let's listen again to some of what he said. This is from the Oval Office on Monday.
I would like to find out what it is and tell the people.
And can you commit to some kind of...
In fact, I'd like to do that. Could we find out what that was, Susie? Okay? Yeah, why don't we find out immediately? I mean, I can't imagine it's an enemy or there would have been, people would have gotten blown up all over. Maybe they were testing things. I don't know why they wouldn't have said what it was. They had a lot of them flying over Bedminster, which is interesting, right?
All right, so we heard the president there saying, hey, can we get right on this, Susie? Mayor, what is your reaction to President Trump asking his White House chief of staff to immediately get to the bottom of these drone sightings?
It's absolutely welcome news. I mean, if we just back up a little bit, President Trump, even when he was President-elect Trump during his transition, he's been on the record now at least on 3 different occasions about these drones. The first time he did mention that our government knows and our president knows, and he wasn't sure why they weren't telling us. And if you understand how the transition works for president, our president-elect receives the same exact national intelligence briefing that our president does. So if it was a foreign adversary or something alien or extraterrestrial, I'm certain as president-elect he would have known. The fact that he doesn't seem to have that many details, and he was asked the second time about it, and that's when he said, well, I'm going to disclose it within my first or second day into office, tells me that if he's not briefed on it yet, it's probably not a matter of national security or certainly not an alien invasion or anything crazy like that. More than likely, this is going to be our government or experimental drones that are up in the sky. I'm still waiting for that disclosure. I do believe, and I take him at his word, I do believe that New Jersey mayors and all the residents here in New Jersey are going to get disclosure, and it's going to come soon.
All right, that's some good news there. And that's what I wanted to ask you, Mayor. I mean, based on, what residents there are saying, what your constituents are telling you, what do you think is going on in the skies?
I mean, it's tough. Every time I see a video, my opinion seems to change. I mean, I've recently been watching and spent some time with the videographer out of Long Island. I mean, he has orbs, these glowing orbs of light on camera that as you watch them right before your eyes, they seem to transform into a mechanical drone. So I've actually watched it myself where these orbs are glowing balls of light, different blinking lights all over the place. And as it gets closer to you, you actually see it transform into a drone. Whether it's a drone from the beginning and it's being obstructed by bright light, I can't tell you, but it is cause for concern. We have looked at flight tracker data. We don't see any airplanes in the skies. These things are absolutely some kind of phenomenon that's happening just over our homes. We need answers, and we need them quickly.
Yeah, and that's so important to note that, you are looking at flight tracker data and not seeing records of this. So, Mayor, are you confident that we will start to get some definitive answers, whatever those answers may be?
I believe we're going to get answers. calls for speculation as to whether there can be definitive answers or not.
Yeah.
I do take the president at his word. I do think that we are going to get some kind of disclosure. You know, I've listened to government speak. I've listened to our state, New Jersey, speak. I've listened to the federal government speak, and they've been very specific at times. They've said things like it's not our DOD, it's not our Homeland Security. And I've learned, in being in this business for a while, that when government speaks very specifically, listen to what they're not saying. So when they say it's not DOD and it's not Homeland Security, they're not saying it's not a private contractor. They're not saying a lot of different things there. So they're giving themselves some plausible deniability when they say things specifically like that. However, I'm still fairly sure that this is probably going to be our government assets, as the president said when he was president-elect, and even now. If it was a foreign adversary, I'm almost certain with $1 trillion military budget, we'd be able to take these things out of the sky. The fact they're not coming out of the sky and we keep seeing them, I truly believe that we will find out, whether it's sooner or later, that it is probably some kind of government asset.
Now, I want you all to keep in mind that I am still wide open to all possibilities. In the back of my mind, I still feel like these are enemy drones from China or something like that. But I can't sit here and deny the timing of this story and the connections that we have between this story and all of the UFO stuff that's going on. Because a lot of these videos and a lot of these firsthand accounts of these drones, they aren't of people seeing fixed-wing aircrafts. We've heard a lot of that as well. But a lot of people are talking about mysterious orbs of light, shape-shifting objects in the sky. And a lot of that kind of ties into some of the things that we've been hearing from these congressional hearings about these unidentified flying objects, UAP, whatever you want to call them in the modern day. But there is a question that I think we need answered. Because, I don't know, when I brainstorm and I go over all of these possibilities, I always find things that stick out like a sore thumb that make me, change my mind a little bit. Like, yeah, I believe that these drones or whatever they are may be connected to the current UFO disclosure that's going on. But if that were the case, why aren't we seeing these drones in more places? Now, don't get me wrong. They've been flying over military bases across several different states. We know that. But the majority of what's been going on with this crazy drone fiasco, it's like the hub of all of this chaos has been New Jersey. So the question I have, and it's a question that not enough of us have really been asking. The question I have is, why New Jersey? Now, I know that New Jersey has certain military bases and stuff like that. We know that. We already know what military bases these drones have flown over. We know they've flown over Trump's golf course. We know they fly over the water reservoirs. We know what they're attracted to, but why New Jersey? Every state, every area has a military base or a water reservoir or this or that. So what's so special about New Jersey? Why is New Jersey the hub of all of this activity? That's the question that needs to be answered. Because, yeah, we see drone activity in other pockets of the U.S., and we even see it overseas, but no one is experiencing what New Jersey is experiencing. And even though you haven't been hearing about it on the news, and you haven't been seeing me and many other people talking about it, New Jersey, every day, people in New Jersey are still reporting these sightings. And you heard that from the mayor. It's not like these things have really gone away. It's just that people have stopped talking about it. So the question would be, why is New Jersey the hub of all of this activity? What's so special about New Jersey? What's located in New Jersey? Now, I know there's drone manufacturers and stuff like that in New Jersey, but you can find them all over the place. So I think that's a question that needs to be answered. But as of right now, we're kind of waiting, hoping that Trump's going to give us some answers about this. If Trump doesn't ever reveal any information about these drones, then I think it's safe to assume that this was definitely some type of U.S. technology that we're not willing to talk about yet. But if you're going to be that secretive about this technology, why fly it right above people's faces in New Jersey, hovering over their homes? They want these things to be seen. They don't want these things to be a secret, yet it seems like they want to be secretive about it. It's like they want you to see it, but they don't want to talk about it, right? So that's just odd. And like I said, I don't know if this is all just some sort of mental conditioning for what's to come. But I don't know what's coming, but something's coming. And prepare yourself for that, at least mentally, because the next few years are going to get insane. The way that they've been coming out with all of this information about UFOs, and like I said, regardless if you believe in aliens or what you believe these things are, they're preparing us for something. And I hope you're prepared for it. I think I am, but I don't know if even I'm prepared for it. But for now, you can let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.